In a previous video, I was talking about the speech the President of the United States made, where he moved to legalize 5 million people who are in this country, as he put it, undocumented. What exactly does he mean by undocumented? He doesn't like to use the term illegal immigrant, because that, of course, is a term that has been used for decades, and the left is trying to shelve that in order to get its own way. In other words, if it controls the language, it's going to be able to control the debate. And if you say illegal, you're just being mean-spirited, and therefore we don't have to listen to you. But it's a bit like saying that the crack dealer who's down on the corner by your house is an undocumented pharmacist. It's also saying that if a fellow walks into your neighborhood bank, sticks a gun in the teller's face, that guy is making an undocumented withdrawal. We all know it doesn't quite work that way. It's not, though, just the American left that's a problem here. I read just the other day that Jeb Bush is making the rounds of Wall Street looking for large campaign contributions. You have to understand, there are a great many people on the American right, not Tea Party folks, and certainly not most conservatives, but many in the Republican Party who are right of center, at least nominally. These people are well funded by the machinery of Wall Street, and in order to get that money coming into their campaign coffers, they have to do the bidding of some very, very powerful people. Wall Street, by the way, would like to see these people brought to this country in large, large numbers, not just 5 million, but perhaps 40 million, maybe 50 million. Why? Because it creates competition for labor. Competition for labor also means you're going to have lower wages, and it's easier for business to get the job done. They'll argue they have to do this because if they don't, otherwise business will go to Asia. So the American people are essentially stuck between a rock and a hard place. A couple of other points I'd like to address on this matter as well. I've been reading for the last several years that people like me, that is Caucasian, and I'm obviously north of the age of 50, they keep telling us that we're a dying breed. Well, of course we are. We're not all going to live forever. But they tell us it won't be long before we're in the minority, that we're no longer the majority, and we have to learn to live with that. Let's examine that for just a moment. What do they mean by not in the majority? They mean that there won't be more than 50% of the population who are essentially white. Okay, I get that. On the other hand, if you take that notion, that means that Bill Clinton didn't have a mandate in the 1990s when he was elected president, although the left certainly said that he did, and he certainly claimed it. But he was elected with what was called a plurality. That is, he got more votes than anyone else. It's going to be a very, very long time before Caucasian America loses the plurality status. That is, it is going to remain the largest voting bloc in the country, the largest population bloc. These other blocs all have to get together if they intend to defeat white America, if you'd like to put it that starkly. And the odds of that happening pretty much are slim and none. We saw the fraying of that so-called Democrat coalition during this past election just a few weeks ago. And the numbers were staggering in some places where traditionally even Latinos had never given any fealty to the Republican Party. But in places like Texas, we're starting to see that break down. In places like Florida, it has long been breaking down. And in places such as Louisiana, it's a toss-up, but at the moment it looks as if it's going to break in the direction of the right-of-center candidate in the upcoming special election for U.S. Senate. So there are just some more thoughts that are following some of the legal arguments I made in a previous video, but I thought it was important to mention all of this. And the main reason these people are doing this is because they're looking for cheap labor. They will stop at nothing to get it. They will call the opposition any names that they potentially can call them. And frankly, it is all being done, what do they call it, legerdemain. We had this fellow a few weeks ago who stood up talking about Obamacare. We saw the videos cropping up one after the other. Almost daily, this fellow Jonathan Gruber was found speaking out about Obamacare, claiming it was all one big lie, and that it was easy to dupe the American people because they don't know crap from Crayola. That's what they're trying to do all over again, my friends. They're trying to take advantage of us, and if you don't follow what they're doing, they're going to be calling you all sorts of names, smearing you, dragging you through the mud. There will be no end to that. We have to be forever vigilant. And by the way, there was a fellow talking on Fox News, a program called The Five the other night by the name of Eric Bolling, and he said this Jonathan Gruber inadvertently became a whistleblower by telling the truth about what was really going on. Mr. Gruber won't be seeing the public eye much, much longer. In fact, they'll figure out a way to get him off the stage very quickly, and Mr. Gruber will be teaching at some small college in Idaho before all of this is said and done. In the meantime, stay safe, and since I still don't have a technician, I have to do this all by myself and say goodbye.